It's day 2 of 2022, and you know what that means. It's course time for the day 1 review here on SCW. Thank you for choosing the channel and choosing the video. Please subscribe right now. Leave any comments in the comment section. Please like and share the video as well. Lots to dive in and discuss. Of course, Brock Lesnar, the new WWE champion. Going to be talking about Roman Reigns as well. Unfortunately, testing positive for COVID-19, pulling him from the show. We've got a surprise entrant already in the Royal Rumble announced, a potential injury as well for 2 superstars, and of course, a couple of stellar matches to talk about as well. But I'm not on my own. I'm joined by the one and only Jonesy Chats Wrestling. George, how are you doing this Sunday afternoon in the UK time zone?
Very well, thank you. Happy New Year. Good to see you. Welcome back to 2022. Good to see you, Steve. I hope you're well. Thank you for having me on the channel again.
Yeah, it's great to have you back. It's been quite a while, and yeah, Happy New Year to you as well, and Happy New Year to all the viewers and watchers as well, because this is the first proper video doing now, because I obviously did a quick video yesterday with the breaking news. Didn't really have a chance to be sort of, very welcoming for the year. It was not the circumstances want to come back to the channel at that point, but of course, a lot of big talking points. But just quickly before we dive in and give our review of the show, we recommend everyone as well to put in their comments and their opinions of the show as we go through as well. George, as an overall aspect, what did you think of WWE Day 1?
I thought the opener and the main event were excellent. They kind of were the best part of the show, but it felt like a really good pay-per-view overall. I think it was much better than the old TLC pay-per-views we used to get in December. It was worth waiting for, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought the main event was really incredible, to be fair.
Yeah, John, I think you make a great point, because, like you say, it was worth waiting for. Not having a December pay-per-view for the first time in I don't know how many years. I feel it's got to be, we're probably going back to like the early 90s, aren't we, to that sort of point there. So, like you say, it's great. Then we had some great matches today. Like I said, the opener, main event, I'm really looking forward to discussing those. But of course, we must start with a kickoff. And of course, we had the kickoff match there, which Sheamus and Holland were taking on Cesaro and Ricochet. Now, this didn't quite go to plan, really, did it? Because Holland, bless him, suffered a broken nose very early into this match, had to be taken to the back, and it was actually announced he wouldn't come back into the match. It was a flip from Ricochet, who landed sort of his foot straight on his nose. It looked very painful, blood over the canvas as well. But it kind of gave a bit of a weird dynamic to the rest of the match as well, because an audible wasn't called. Sheamus was on his own. He kind of ended up being like as the heel, but in a babyface role with the 2-on-1 disadvantage and 1 clean over the baby faces, actually hitting the white noise to Ricochet on the outside floor, hitting the broad kick on the inside to Cesaro. Sheamus looked like $1 million, as you would like to say, during this match. But was that the right call to do? Should Sheamus have cheated to win in this match?
Yeah, I think he probably should have cheated. The way I look at it is, I was surprised that Ricochet wasn't the one that got pinned. I was really shocked with that, but it's great to see Sheamus looking strong. But the throwing back to the bar and stuff like that, it kind of is a good flashback. But for me, the wrong person got pinned. I think Ricochet's like a jobber. Cesaro was up there with Roman Reigns last year. It's quite a fall from grace, in my opinion. But small criticism, but it's good to see Sheamus get the win, really.
Yeah, it's great to see Sheamus get the win. I think Sheamus is in for a top year ahead, and of course, like I say, he looks very strong here. I mean, you want to see him go for like the IC title against Nakamura, or perhaps even go further up the card when Roman can return. Perhaps it really feels like a strong performance from Sheamus. But of course, a shout out to go to Holland as well. A suspected broken nose. Don't know how long he'll be out for, but fingers crossed it won't be too long.
No, fingers crossed he gets well soon. It's a shame to see a British guy that's not been long on the main roster have an injury already. He does seem to have a lot of luck at the moment.
No, he got injured as well into his NXT run, didn't he, quite early on? Also was out for quite a length of time. So, yeah, fingers crossed this one isn't as serious, and hopefully he'll be back in the ring soon. But that was your kickoff. We'll go into the main show then. Of course, that was the big announcement then that Roman Reigns, of course, was not going to be a part of this show. Sadly, he's tested positive for COVID-19. He did say he wanted to be there and will be back in the WWE ring as soon as possible. Judging by his past history, of course, as well, he'd been only a remission from leukemia, didn't he, back in early 2019. Let's hope, fingers crossed, with vaccinations and stuff like that, it won't be too serious, and Roman will be back in the WWE ring very, very soon and fit and healthy to go. I'm sure that you share the same sentiment.
100%. I think it was a great move by WWE and Roman to put himself out of that. I think he has to do that for his own health. But I just have a fear in the back of my mind that if it does get serious again, he may go away for a while, which would be a shame. But he's got to do what's best for his family and his health, really, 100%. It's the main thing, really. But credit to WWE, they reacted quickly to him being out, and they obviously came up with a good solution.
Absolutely, indeed. There, you make a great point there. Like you say, health and family comes first. Roman, wish him all the very, very best. But like you say, in that scenario, they had to do something alternative. Do you have Brock Lesnar go against Sami Zayn? Do you have him against some random guy on SmackDown, maybe another contenders match? No, what you do is you put him in the WWE Championship, change it from a fatal 4-way to a fatal 5-way. And that was a big excitement and grip already. Sitting and go, well, hang on, Brock Lesnar's in this match. And we're always a very exciting fatal 4-way. You've now got a fatal 5-way. And I don't know about you, I was excited about the aspect of Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley being at the same ring at the same time. I don't know if you had that same excitement.
100%, it's the match that needs to happen. Like we've been waiting for so long. We thought we'd get it last year, but no, definitely. Yeah, it was interesting to see Brock announced in that position. I really thought that it was good that WWE explained it as well. Normally they just don't explain it, and we got that explanation. The reason why Roman wasn't there, which was quite good. But no, definitely it was a good addition to the main event. Makes an even better match.
Absolutely. For me, excitement was off. I didn't know who was going to win before, and it was very hard on the predictions. I didn't have a clue now we got to this point. And of course, we're discussing that match as the last match towards the end of the video. But we're going to talk about the Usos versus the New Day, because this was the first match actually on the show. And I tell you what, for two teams that have fought a million times over, they have got great chemistry in the ring, but they never failed to disappoint. This was given a lot of time, this match, to the Usos and the New Day. And I tell you what, some really great near-fall action towards the end of this match. This is awesome chance going in there, kicking out of all the signature moves as well. Of course, the Usos splashes getting kicked out of, New Day's finisher being kicked out of. But in the end, the Usos picking up the victory with a 3D. Of course, going back to much of the Dudley Boys, of course, back in the noughties, late 90s and stuff. And for me, I thought this was really cool. It was a really clever finish. I think the right team won. I mean, after all, the Usos, they are the ones on day one, if you like. And I mean, for me as well, with a finisher like this also just gives them just something a little bit different, keeps them fresh, keeps them relevant, and just gives them a new dynamic to each match they go in. Was this an exciting match for you? And what did you think of the finish?
What a fantastic opener. The 17 minutes they got, I thought it was superb. I felt it was exciting. You never knew who was going to win. The Usos are so over. I think that's clear to everybody to see. But I love the match. I thought the finish was good. A lot of positive coming out of the match. You got Xavier Woods being protected. He didn't get pinned, which was sensible. This guy's going to go on to big things this year. That's pretty obvious to me from this point. But I enjoyed it. I'd love to see this again. The Usos are just that level above now. I think they're better than the tag team titles they've got, really. I think they're good. There's some good things in the future.
Joe, I agree with you. They are to that point that they are the number one team in WWE and arguably in wrestling at the moment. They're a different level together. They're so popular everywhere they go. The fans, you can just hear as well, like we're just chanting along, the big pop when they come out to their music. Usos is a really big deal right now. Would you like to see this as a rematch at the Rumble, perhaps a TLC match, or do you reckon this should move on from here? We're done from this point.
The TLC match will be fun. I'd love it. This goes back to obviously Dudley Boys and the Hardy Boys back at the Royal Rumble back in the day. But no, I'd love it. But let's get another match out of it. Just don't do rematch after rematch week on week, please. That's all I ask. Really.
Yeah, save it for a pay-per-view or one more time on TV. That's it, and then move on. Don't give us about a repeat of Best of 17 series. We don't need that. No. Yeah, we'll go on to the second match of the night then. And this match got longer than the main event, which surprised me. It was Drew McIntyre against Madcap Moss. Madcap, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Dedication to the character. God, the material was awful that him and Happy Corbin have got, but God, they try and do the best of what they're given. It's quite cringeworthy. But Drew McIntyre did pick up the victory in this match after about 10 minutes, wasn't it? He got the Claymore in there. Madcap, it wasn't a squash. He got a bit of good account of himself, and it was good to see him on pay-per-view as well. There's got to be skyrocket his confidence in WWE as well. Do you reckon that Madcap Moss could be a future potential star in the company, or do you reckon this would simply put Drew over? And last but not least, did you enjoy the match?
I thought it was better than I expected. I've got to give Madcap Moss is due, really. I think the fact that this guy was able to put Drew to a credible match. Madcap Moss has in a lot of matches, a lot of chances, but he didn't look out of place. And I just think he showed like a lot more experience than I thought he would have in the ring. I thought he'd be absolutely awful, but this was an okay match. The opening act with Corbin and Moss is particularly painful. It's a bit like putting pins in your eyes, but I get it. It's bad comedy, it's Vince McMahon comedy, but this was an okay match. The finish was obvious. Drew was going to go over all day long, but I wouldn't need to see this again, if I'm being honest.
No, I don't think we're going to for a while, actually, because after the match also, Drew McIntyre, he was backstage, he was having an interview, they asked what his future direction was going to be, and then he was attacked by Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin. And the way that he was sort of written off TV, because that's what we'll go on to explain in a minute via PW Insider, Drew McIntyre looks like he's going to be out for a considerable amount of time. They put a steel chair around his neck, and then I can't remember what the actual object was, but it looked brutal, put it on top of the steel chair with Drew McIntyre's neck, of course, in the chair. It looked quite physical, looked quite painful, not Not as painful as Adam Pearce's acting, calling for a medic, but apart from that, I thought this was a really well done segment. And to write Drew McIntyre off, it looks like that you would see back in the old days. And in a way, to do something like that afterwards, and he's not going to be just back on SmackDown the next week, really gave me kind of an old school feel. I really like the way they put this together. But apparently, Drew McIntyre could have neck issues. That's the reason why he's been written off TV.
Yeah.
I'll let you take over, Georgie. But there is potential this could be long term.
Yes, so obviously Drew's been working with a neck injury for months now, apparently. Like, he's been doing so many matches where he's gone above and beyond due to the style he works at and stuff like that. But big problems for WWE in that respect, because they're going to destine Drew for a big push late in the year. I think with Drew and Roman was a plan later in the year that probably is going to be delayed now. But it's a shame, really. I think the timing is awful. We can only hope he's back by WrestleMania, maybe. But as you said, credit to WWE, they wrote him off in the right way. But I just think it's a big loss to SmackDown. Really?
Yeah, SmackDown sub. I mean, we mentioned Roman not being around there. Brock obviously maybe now have an ulterior motive, which we'll talk about later in the video. Drew McIntyre out. That's a big chunk of your main event scene sort of out on off of SmackDown. So it could be a bit of a struggle. They may have to sort of fill in the gaps or push superstars, or Brock doing double duty. Could you imagine that? Brock being on Raw and SmackDown? That'd be a big shock, wouldn't it? But yeah, I mean, the thing is, overall, we'll have to see where it's going to lead to. Hopefully, like I say, it's not as bad as first feared. I saw on Wrestle Talk that this was done before it got really serious. So fingers crossed that this is not too bad for Drew. And hopefully, like you say, hopefully be back by Mania if you're not at the Royal Rumble. We've got Noob and Co in the house. He says, good morning, Stephen Jonesy. Thank you, Noob, for checking us out. And Alicia is with us as well. We'll come to her comment very shortly because she's talking about Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch. So we'll do that when we get to that match. But first off, we need to talk about RK Bro and the Street Profits. And do you know what? Hurrah for tag team wrestling. It's getting a push in 2022. 3 out of 4 matches of the first of this pay-per-view were tag team affairs. RKO coming up with Migos as well. Of course, the sort of, you know, the music act that was part of the show, and home Town Heroes of Atlanta as well, sitting ringside watching this match. I thought this was a solid tag team affair with these. I enjoy Randy Orton's work. I really got into Randy Orton again recently. Just his timing, his maneuvers, just those little things for facials. Everything just seems to be pinpoint perfect when you watch Randy in the ring, and really enjoyed this match, particularly the finish as well. I love the fact that Montez Ford was sort of thrown up in the air by Riddle and then sort of landed into an RKO. I thought that this actually could be a potential finisher for the RK Bro tag team going forward. Did you enjoy this match, and what did you think of the finish?
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I thought the finish was quite clever. Yeah, not too bad. I like the way the Street Profits during the early part of the match were kind of playing the heel side of the match, which was interesting to see how that would come across. I thought it was okay. Did what I need to do. The right people went over, and yeah, it was a fun affair. I think I enjoyed it until Migos came in the ring after. I just thought that was a bit of a waste of time, but the overall match itself was decent enough.
Yeah, like you say, the end of the match kind of felt house show, didn't it? When you sort of have Migos in the ring, everyone shakes hands, everyone's like, happy days, we're done. But for me, I really enjoyed this dynamic. And of course, Street Profits was sort of playing they're both baby faces, but playing the heel of the two teams. Would you turn around and say that could be an avenue the Street Profits could go down at some point in 2022? Or do you think that they are too good as beloved baby faces?
I'd like to see it. I think the thing that stops that is Bianca Belair ultimately, because of obviously she's married to Montez Ford. I think that kind of thing may stop it, but I'd like to see that because we need some heel teams other than Usos, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Would be certainly something different as well to see somewhere going forward. But certainly was okay for what it was. I thought this was a fun match, but like you say, it was just, it is what it was there. But going on to the fourth match of the card then was Edge versus The Miz. I like the Brood entrance we had again from Edge here. I thought that was quite a fun dynamic. I know fans were really loving this last time round, but the match itself was quite good, quite paced, I thought as well. It looked like The Miz was going to pick up the victory when Miz had the referee distracted, and Maurice hit Edge with a bag. Then he went into the skull crushing finale. Edge kicking out 2. We then saw Beth Phoenix make a return to the main roster, no longer on commentary on NXT. She came down, sort of stormed to the ring with Maurice storming towards the back. Miz looked distracted as he turned around, went straight into a spear. Edge picking up the victory. Sadly, I don't think this feud is done, which I hoped for in the predictions video. I do think we are getting this mixed tag team match, but hopefully this will be at the Rumble and not at WrestleMania. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was an okay match. The entrance was a nice flashback, I guess, to Gangrel, stuff like the Brood. The match itself was okay. I'm kind of thinking at this point, what the hell has Edge done to be stuck in there with The Miz? Like, Edge obviously came back after this long injury, yet he's stuck in this feud with The Miz. Bit of a waste of Edge, but the match was okay. I think the finish was a bit cheap. Like, he's a babyface, yet he has to get a heel way of a distraction to win. It was okay. It's obviously leading to the tag, as you said, but I'm not a fan of when the we have these big returns and entrance music plays. Like, why do you just appear at ringside? Where's the shot value gone? You know what I mean? That's just me being a wrestling historian, personally.
Yeah, no, I agree, because the camera was cut there for a long time with Maurice on there. You knew she was coming. It was just when she was coming. Then she was stood there, and then you felt she's waiting for the music. As soon as the music hit, then she went to the ring. It felt like it was a little bit of off with the connection communication.
I would have rather, to be fair, Steve, if it was me personally, I would rather that Edge got the win, and then you do Miz and Maurice doing the beatdown after on Edge, and then you get Beth Phoenix then making the save. I'd kind of like that better, but it's just a small criticism. But as you said, we're going to get another program, and I hope you're right about the Rumble, because I really don't want to see us at WrestleMania. It would feel like a waste of Edge for the rest of WrestleMania.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And Joe, I agree with your actual analysis as well. Yeah, it's a nitpick, but you know what? I actually do think it would have been better had it played out that way. But yeah, like you say, hopefully at the Rumble, and let's hope Edge can get programs like Kevin Owens or AJ Styles at WrestleMania. That's certainly something I would like to see.
Yep, that'd be a dream.
That would be indeed there. Also, just got another comment here before we go on to the women's championship match. Noob does say here that we also got no other SmackDown title matches, no IC title, no SmackDown women's title match. No title match for the SmackDown women's, mainly because Toni Storm was released. I think that was planned originally, but then it was put forward to the Christmas Eve edition of the show. But no IC title match, no Rick Boogs, no Nakamura. Do you think that could be a future direction for Sheamus after this?
Maybe. I think the thing with Nakamura, I'm pretty sure I heard he's out with COVID, so that's probably why he's not there. I think it's a safety thing. But yeah, maybe it might be a future match. That'll be a fun one. I don't think I've seen that before, so that'll be good if it happens.
Yeah, definitely be something different. Or Nakamura Zayn. We believe we're not seeing that since the original takeover. He debuted. That would be madness. But we'll go in because I want to get listeners' comment up in a couple of seconds. But we need to talk about the match first. There, Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan. For me, they just skipped the opening stuff. They went straight in heavy. Gave the best they could in this match. It was sloppy in a couple of places, but you know what? I really enjoyed this match, and as you could tell, the fans got invested with a story that was being told with Liv Morgan as well as Becky Lynch. I thought both did a fantastic job here of elevating themselves and elevating Liv in the story as well, because I think Liv has come out of this match, even though she didn't come out the winner, I think she has come out in a lot more of a prime position than when she started the program with Becky Lynch. I do think later in the year that the trigger could be pulled for Liv Morgan. She wasn't ready just yet, in my opinion, but I thought this was a good match. The way it finished, for those looking for it, the Oblivion attempt was done from Liv Morgan, but it was countered into the manhandle slam. It looked like Becky was trying to put her foot on the bottom rope, but was too far away. I don't know if that was a little bit of a mishap or not, but it was a clean victory. Becky Lynch picking up the win. Jonesy, what were your thoughts of Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan? Becky looked like she'd been in a fight, and she looked like that she was quite happy to be escaping as Raw Women's Champion.
I thought it was a good match. I think Becky gave Liv a lot of offense. I was surprised how much offense Liv got, but it was okay. I thought the finish was a bit of a botch, as you said. I think there wasn't really a lot of heel element to the finish, which was kind of missing, but this was okay. It did what it needed to do. Becky's over the crowd still, which is important. I just would love to have seen some brass knucks in the finish or something like that. We need Becky to, not saying she has to cheat to win, but she's a heel now. You know what I mean? It's one of the things where I don't know why we didn't get an attack after the bell or something. I just think that was kind of missing, but it did what it needed to do. But crucially enough, this is building Becky up to have this match with Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. I think this is the way they're going. Actually.
It would be a certain potential destination for Bianca Belair to be in that position at WrestleMania. I am going to be honest with you. I think Bayley is going to come back at the Rumble if she's fit enough and ready to go, and I think that could be the Mania match. But even a triple threat would be really cool.
What about if you had Oscar as well? Take it forward.
I mean, come on. That would be brilliant, wouldn't it? Let's be fair. You know, Oscar's been off TV for a long time as well. That put her back in a prominent position as well. It feel a big time match also. So, no, I really like the sound of all of that as potentials there. But Alicia, finally getting your comment up. Thank you for being patient with us on this one. But Liv Morgan feeling lost in the shuffle to have to give Bianca Belair's title, turn her, wants to turn Bianca Belair heel, it seems, and Sasha Banks as well. Liv Morgan to dethrone Becky Lynch, but feels like Liv Morgan has been done dirty here. Yeah, interesting stuff indeed. I don't know if she'll be lost in the shuffle, Liv, but certainly perhaps maybe needs to have just a bit of a step out of the title scene just for the minute. Perhaps a good Royal Rumble performance, perhaps something to do at WrestleMania would be quite nice. Then push her towards Money in the Bank. Do you reckon that'd be a good direction for Liv Morgan? Or do you reckon she needs to do something, go dirty herself, turn heel? Maybe Liv Morgan needs to go, perhaps take a page out of Becky Lynch, maybe hold the ropes or something.
Yeah, I don't think she should turn heel. The fans want to cheer her, so a heel turn I don't think for me would work. But keeping her a babyface, it's a slow build redemption storyline. I think what Liv Morgan are doing, they don't want to pay it off instantly. But yeah, I think for me later in the year maybe she'll get that chance. But Becky, to be fair, she's so over. Like she's in so much different league of overness compared to Liv Morgan, which is probably why Liv was never going to beat her on this event.
No, and I always felt confident that she would do so. New Boston says we might get Becky and Bianca at WrestleMania for the Royal Women's title, as you suggested there, Jonesy. A little concern for the SmackDown Women's title. Maybe we'll see Asuka and Charlotte at WrestleMania 38. Do you know what? I'd be fine with that. Do you know what? Because it is one of the biggest matches they can do. They've got great chemistry. We have seen it a dozen times, but would you be okay with it?
Yeah, I think it'd be okay. I think a prediction, put this out there now. I think we're going to get Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair. That's what I think personally. It's a strong prediction. And that's a big match because I think this year at WrestleMania, we're going to have one night be the men's, which will be both the world titles, which we can go into later, and the other night will be the women's, and it'll be one of the women's titles. I think if you do Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte, that's a huge match. Even Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch is a huge match as well if they do it. I know she's due back apparently.
That would be amazing if they could do that. That would be absolutely awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, sign me up. That'd be a WrestleMania main event for night one, without question, if Ronda Rousey comes back in the game. Charlotte or Becky would be prominent and great opponents for that.
We can
position.
wish.
But, we can only wish.
Vince, make it happen, please.
Yeah, Vince, if you're watching, or Nick Khan, anybody, just make it happen. We'll be quite happy with that. Yeah. But last but not least, then let's talk about it because people have certainly tuned in for this video to be talking about the main event. Now, it wasn't given a long time, but my goodness, did they give us everything in 10 minutes. I love everything about this. The Fatal 5-Way, Biggie, the WWE Champion, taking on Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. We got promos throughout the evening. Biggie was happy to take the challenge on. Kevin Owens said, look, we need to make a plan here. I'm going to go and talk to Seth. Seth was like, well, hang on. I was the one-on-one guy. Then it was triple threat, fatal 4-way, fatal 5-way. And of course, Bobby Lashley weren't concerned. He was happy to get in the ring with Brock Lesnar. Like we said, we were happy to see that, excited to see it. And we were not wasting any time in this match. Suplex City started on Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. We see Bobby Lashley spear Brock Lesnar through the barricade. We saw tables get involved, the announcers table, Bobby Lashley going through it via Big E. We're seeing F5s and all the finishing moves coming nice and quickly, nice and early. It got to a point here where we were left with the Hurt Lock, where Lashley had on Brock Lesnar. We thought, would actually see Brock Lesnar lose the Hurt Lock. Of course it wouldn't. Big E comes in, breaks it up, hits the big ending on Bobby Lashley. He then attempts it on Brock Lesnar, but Brock Lesnar goes over the top, hits the F5, and we've got a brand new WWE champion. And of course, Brock Lesnar could have pinned anybody. He pinned the WWE champion. What does that say to you? It was very impactful. It was not mucking around. It was, as Nuba's going to say here, it was 8 minutes of total madness and excitement. Couldn't have summed up better if I tried to there. Yeah, literally, for me, I thought this was a fantastic way to close off the show. What were your thoughts?
I really, really loved it. This is what wrestling should be in 2022. I think so many elements here. I love the small intricacies of stuff like them building up Lesnar and Lashley, like Lashley being the only one that doesn't get taken out by Lesnar kind of throughout the match, if that makes sense. I just think it was really, really well done. Clever finish as well. And I just think it was really, really excitable. The fact we didn't know who was going to win, I think that's such a nice thing in wrestling. I think that's, as a fan, I cried for that. I don't want to be in a match where I know who the winner is, obviously. It really felt magic to me, this match. I think this was so good. And I think this felt WrestleMania worthy, unbelievably, on just like a normal pay-per-view, really.
Do you know what? I feel like you said, it was just a buzz. I mean, the thing is, going into this match when it was a fatal 4-way, had no idea how it was going to go anyway. But then Brock was added to the mix, and you went, they're pushing it like literally Lesnar could do this. And you thought, it's the most shocking thing. I go back to No Mercy 2007 when John Cena to give up the championship. They changed the WWE championship 3 times in one night. And I remember it just being a big shock, if you want, throw things to the wall and see what sticks. And they made a really good pay-per-view out of it. And it just really made this pay-per-view proper excitement. We have got no idea where things are going forward. It was very sort of throwback in that way. And now all the plans that all of us in the IWC, we thought that we knew. We said that we knew what was going to happen. Now we haven't got a clue because Brock Lesnar now is your WWE champion. Are we going to get him on Raw? Are we going to finally get Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley? Because it looked like a point that Lesnar was going to lose to Lashley. Is it a point that Roman Reigns comes back at the Royal Rumble and we sort of find that perhaps he costs Brock Lesnar the WWE Championship there, and then we see him and Lesnar at WrestleMania via Lesnar winning the Rumble or something? Or do we get title versus title unification? So many people have been released anyway. You might as well put everyone under one roof. Or do we get a triple threat at WrestleMania where we get Roman and Brock against the Royal Rumble winner, and it's winner take all? There's so many different potentials that we could get. I need to know, Jonesy, what you think is going to be the direction going after this?
Yeah, I think for me, if I was booking it, I think WWE needs to unify the WWE title and the Universal title. And you need to do that at WrestleMania 38. The way you do that is you'll have Bobby Lashley win the Royal Rumble this year. He'll then challenge Brock Lesnar for the WWE title on night one of WrestleMania. On night one of WrestleMania, he'll then have Roman Reigns defend the title against Drew McIntyre. The winner, Drew McIntyre in the process, would have won the Elimination Chamber. The winner of night one faced the winner of night two. You then obviously have that big match. That way you get the belts on both nights as well. But for me, Brock Lesnar versus Lashley is a dream match. This is a WrestleMania match. We're probably going to get it early, but the Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar thing, there is a long-term plan there. They're obviously going to have to go back to that because they've obviously, even there were hints of Brock Lesnar saying his advocate Paul Heyman, they didn't drop it totally. So for me, I think we'll get Brock Lesnar, Lashley probably at the Rumble, and then I think obviously we're going to get this Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar match at WrestleMania. It's champion versus champion potentially, which will be fun. Definitely, it'll be a huge match.
I'd love to see it. It was very Wrestle Kingdom the way you did that there. I love the booking that you've made there. Fantastic fantasy booking stuff indeed there, Jones. I'd be up for all of that if that was to go down. We'll quickly go into the comments. WrestleMania UK says, Happy New Year, lads. Happy New Year to you as well. Thank you for checking out the stream. And of course, he does say as well, Lesnar versus Lashley at the Royal Rumble. May I just say, yes, please. If anyone from WWE is watching this video somewhere, hear from the crying sound of my voice, make this happen because you'll make Mex happy and you'll make us happy as well. I'm sure everyone else tuning in would love it as well. Alicia also goes on to say that can see future potential Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch against Beth Phoenix and Edge in a mixed tag team match. That'd be quite a fun idea as well, wouldn't it?
It would be fun. That'd be a dream match. I'd love to see that, I think, to be fair. Definitely. I think the thing with it, it's really, really interesting. If you look at this, WWE's original plan was Biggie to go over. The fact with 24 hours, they've gone to that Brock Lesnar thing now. It's very reactive from WWE. What have you kind of made of that reaction of them making this title change all of a sudden? Was it a shock to you? And do you think there's going to be some long-term plans, or do you think this is panic in the store almost?
This could be panic in the store, but you know what? It could end up to the benefit. I mean, it's definitely freshening things up. Wrestling fans today seem a lot more excited than what I think perhaps they would have done. It felt like we were going in a good direction with Roman and Lesnar. Don't get me wrong. It was a steady direction, but it was a direction we've seen before. Things feel fresh. Things feel exciting here. And I think that's something that I think has, captured us and gone, where are we going to go next? We don't quite know. And I think that's the fun and exciting part. This feels WrestleMania. It feels like we're on the road to the Rumble now, just from that alone. The one thing I would say is, and I feel sorry for Biggie, he was supposed to win that match, but you know what? I think in long term, this has done Biggie a favor because right now, Biggie felt like an afterthought in that rivalry because they started off with him and Seth Rollins. They then threw Kevin Owens in. Then it was Bobby Lashley. He felt like an afterthought even when it was a fatal four-way. Then Lesnar came in, got the main event sort of entrance as well. There was no surprise in what they were doing here. I think Biggie could do with just regrouping and coming back again. You've seen people before like Edge who'd have a shorter reign as the first time as a world champion. Then they come back as the second time world champion and then it solidifies them as a top guy, as a main eventer. Drew McIntyre's been in that position as well, though his first reign was a long one, but still you need that second run to be this guy is recognized as someone that's been at the top all the time. So for me, this puts Biggie in the Royal Rumble. It puts him potentially as a nearby favorite of the Royal Rumble. And if he could win the Royal Rumble, that puts him in a great stead going into WrestleMania. So I think it could be a good thing long-term for Biggie. What were your thoughts of Biggie dropping the championship? Was it the right move overall?
Yeah, I think it was. I don't think his reign's been particularly great since he won the belt. He hasn't really added anything to the sort of the division, if that makes sense. But it's kind of the right move. Hopefully, he's not lost in the mid-card shuffle now. I'd like to see him rebuild. I think he has some great talent. He's got a great amount of ability. It's just what they do with him next. I think it's very interesting. My only fear with Lesnar being champion is the fact when Lesnar was champion before, he went missing for months at a time, which didn't get the belt on TV, which was a bit of a small worry, a small concern for me. But yeah, I think it'll be fun. But doesn't this create a really interesting world title picture on the Raw side now? Like going into Mania, there could be 1 of 4 matches or 5 matches, which if you said that to me 12 months ago, I'd have been like, no, never. It's really, really good.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, we couldn't even get Lesnar versus Biggie at the Rumble. He's the former champion. He's got something a point to prove as well. So that would be really cool to see also. And the thing is as well, the other thing I was saying as a counter, I mean, if Biggie had won that match, I mean, I think he suffered after losing at Survivor Series. I will say that. I don't think he got enough offense in against Roman. I think that was one of the parts that really kind of, with a lackluster build then to this point. But I do think if he'd have won that fatal 5-way with Lesnar in the match, I think that would have been really big for Biggie. But at the same time, I think that still could be a bright future. Like you say, hopefully it doesn't end up where he gets lost in the shuffle. But Noob goes on to say it was the right move for him as well there. So, it's that's how it's gone down. But is there anything you'd like to add more for day one before we give a final grade?
No. I think it, as I said, I think it was really fun. I think if coming out of a pay-per-view, it's nice to have something to talk about. And going in, I didn't have that high expectation. So WWE, well done if this is the start of 2022 and you could be able to deliver this level of shocks on every pay-per-view. I'm going to be a fan. I'm going to be watching. That's for sure.
Absolutely. What's your score out of 10?
I would go 8 out of 10. I think the opening match was superb, and the main event was really, really phenomenal. I think it really, really good. I think overall it was a great show. What stops it getting a 10 for me is the constant vignettes we had for Bobby Lashley, Bianca Belair. There were Raw style vignettes, and the cameo for the Royal Rumble entrant, which I'm sure you want to discuss shortly in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, those video packages, we don't really necessarily need to see them as long-term fans, but I guess there are people that it could have been day one for them watching the product.
Yeah.
There's always going to be new people coming in, checking it out. So I guess for them, it's a good thing to promote those stars. But like you say, these things can be used for Raw.
Why not use that time to build an angle or have a backstage attack or an interview or something? It's just, I just think it's just really lazy.
I suppose so. The only thing I will say is when I was there at Survivor Series in November, it's so good if you need a toilet break. You've got time to go somewhere and get back. Imagine the poor bugger in row 6 that's got to go so far to the loo to then get back in time for the next match. So in that way, it does do that great for them. But I do feel for us at home, like you say. But I watched it not live. So for me, I could skip those bits today. So that probably helped things a little bit. But to give my final rating out of 10, if you don't mind, Jonesy, I would say that I'm going to go with a similar grade, but I'm going to go slightly lower at 7.5. I felt there were filler in places in this pay-per-view, but I think it was a quick sort of pay-per-view, a short watch. It was exciting from start to finish overall, particularly the main event had me hooked. For me, this ticked a lot of boxes, and I think we should get day one next year, don't you?
Yeah, we should. I think it's going to be a yearly thing. Like, I think this is really going to be used in future to restart the plans for the year. But it's great to have this day one of WrestleMania season start already. I'm excited for the Rumble. I just hope we don't lose this excitement on the road to WrestleMania from after the Rumble onwards, if that makes sense.
Let's hope not. Let's hope not. Well, let's quickly go through the last bits of comments and then we'll end the stream off today. First off, we're going to be seeing here Roman is ending mainly with both of them titles. And of course, Mexico's going to say, reminding us he is the Tribal Chief and he is the head of the table. Just say, by the way, the Usos now using the 3D. Will they get the tables as well? Only if Roman's not at the head of it. That's all I can imagine. But certainly would be interesting to see indeed. But at least you also go see Roman's Reigns WrestleMania plan. What Seth Rollins wins the Royal Rumble and challenges Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Certainly would be good for that. They did something at the start of last year and it didn't kind of continue on because Seth was drafted to Raw. Would you like to see them two wrestle at WrestleMania if it was possible?
Yeah, they've got to do this match eventually, haven't they? Throwing back to the Shield and that flashback and stuff. But as both as heels, I think would make it interesting. I don't know how that would come across, really. One of us be babyface, maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have to see how it'll play out. And W. Gato, BDM says Lesnar versus Lashley and Roman versus Rock at WrestleMania. If only The Rock
if only The Rock was coming back. Next year, 2023.
I think LA. I'm agreeing with you of LA there, but certainly if those were WrestleMania matches, I would be quite happy to see them. I would not be complaining at all. But Mex has got a final comment in for us here today. He says, we the ones. I'm not sure if he's talking about all of us here on SCW or if he's talking about the bloodline, but either way, we're loving that comment. I'm sure he's talking about the bloodline, but I think Mex is secretly talking about us all as well. But hey, that's been everything here for us for SCW. And this has been the day one review. It's been a lot of fun doing this. Jonesy, thank you so much for being a part of this as well. Give a plug for Jonesy Chats Wrestling as well, because of course, you've not been doing as much content recently, but you know what? Some great old content for people to go and check out. Tell them about the channel.
Yeah, so just literally my opinion of 2021's wrestling. We may come back with some new videos, but no, check it out if you want an opinion on wrestling that isn't traditional, if that makes sense. We just go into the ins and outs of everything, really. But yeah, no, thank you for the plug.
Anytime, and you did a great one on Non-Stop Wrestling Chat as well recently as well, giving the worst of 2021. That definitely was a fun listen. Recommend to anyone go and do that. It's on Barry's channel, Non-Stop Wrestling Chat. And like for anyone that's been here, thank you so much, everyone that's been watching. I'm going to do my plug for the year now. It is 2022, the year of watch time. We're so close again, SCW, to monetization. So any minutes you can dedicate to this channel to watch a video, it is highly appreciated. I am so appreciative of everyone that supports the channel, everyone that's subscribing, everyone that's liking videos, leaving comments afterwards. Really do appreciate it. And like I say, if you can do that after this video, it would be so good to see. We've got a great comment just to finish stuff here today. Rex says here, Jonesy, you've got to make a return to. He says, in the Royal Rumble entrant number 30. If that happens, I tell you what, I'll be making some last minute bets there to get Jonesy to get us to WrestleMania. Mex will get us all tickets, I'm pretty sure, for it.
As long as I'm not in the room with Brock Lesnar or somebody like that, I might be all right.
Yeah, definitely. If Brock and Omos can eliminate each other,
Brock and Omos as the final three. Yeah, oh God.
Get them to eliminate each other, then boom, you're there, sorted. That would be fine. You could do a Santina Morella, hide under the ring the whole time and come out after the person thinks they've won.
Sounds like a good strategy. WWE implement it.
Definitely. If you need a manager or someone just ringside to distract someone, just give me a shout. I'll be there with you. But that's all from us anyway. Thank you so much, everyone that's been tuning in anyway. It's been a lot of fun to do this. Josie, thank you once again for being here.
No worries, man.
Like I said, please like, share, and subscribe. And we're going to find our way into the Royal Rumble match. But in the meantime, check out some other videos on the channel. Check out Josie, check out Nonstop, check out Mex, and check out everyone that's involved here. That's been involved in the chat here that does content creating. So many talented people here. But that's all from us anyway. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. And more videos dropping SCW, by the way, so keep an eye out for those. I've got my predictions, my bold predictions for 2022 dropping on this channel very shortly, so keep an eye out for them. All the best. Thanks for watching.